Hey y'all, One Punch DM, also known as Chris. I GM for fun. This is video 3 of the little Nautilus intro videos. This is kind of what DMs can expect of this whole thing. I'm gonna get a little bit more into the world building. Again, you don't have to choose any of this stuff. If you don't want to get involved in the world and the lore, you don't have to. Although I'm pretty proud of my Eldritch God of Dreaming, this horrible creature that is both beautiful and destructive. Let's jump into it. What DMs expect? I'm going to jump right in. Rolling tables. I've got rolling tables for days. In fact, 2/3 of this module, of this 111 page module, are appendices. They are events, they are items, they are all sorts of great stuff that you can go back and look up. They got stat blocks for the crew. You have unique monsters that I've built. You have unique items that I've built. But what I'm most proud of in this, and this is something that I am incredibly proud of, are the rolling tables. Let me pull up real quick some of... Oh, I also have a couple spells too. A couple spells I've kind of borrowed from here and there. So Appendix D is Dreaming Ideas and Rolling Tables. This is, I give you 10 dreams, essentially, that you could roll on. Ask a player who wants to have the first night of dreaming, or make it be a surprise where you roll on the dream table and just throw everybody in, be like, oh no, this is happening. Because no one in the game should know. NPCs or PCs alike should know that these dreams are coming. They might have an inkling, though, depending on how well they figure out what's going on with Artima, our little tiefling friend who gets taken by the big bad, more like malevolent dictator of the dreaming. We have some of these are combat, some of these are puzzles, and some of these are social. Some of these are figuring out what the heck's going on. And, of course, those social are all backstory roleplay stuff. The Sanguine, which is one of the three major groups involved in this, they are very storytelling heavy. They, as worshippers of the God of Dreaming, storytelling and story is basically their favorite thing in the world to do. They love to talk, and they love to tell stories around the fire, etc., etc. So a lot of this can be that. We have a Dream Surge table. Artima is getting powerful. She's essentially a dream sorcerer that sleeps. And if something happens to her in real world, you roll on the Dream Surge table, and dream surgy things happen. It's kind of like the Wild Magic table, except there's less bad things that happen and less extreme good things that happen. So fewer great and fewer terrible. It's a little more balanced, in my opinion, and it's more kind of throws a wrench in the combat if there's a combat going on. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just really funny and lighthearted and raises the tension just a little bit. Then we, of course, have daydreaming rolling tables, where if like sometimes players, and some of my players did this because they're really excited to jump into this again, they daydream. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna take a short rest and I'm just gonna daydream. I'm just gonna like maybe see if I can maybe draw a connection with Lalatu's far sleep, I call it, or near sleep, I call it, where they can maybe meet up with somebody, maybe find some more information, maybe do some sleuthing on their own. I have daydream rolling tables, and it's a lot of rolling tables. You roll a d4, then depending on what that d4 is, you roll a d20, d10, d8, d12, and then if you roll high on any of those, then you have the opportunity of doing cool stuff along the way. This is mostly flavor, but it's a lot of really, really fun flavor. I love the flavor in these games, and that's kind of what I was hoping to do. And then, of course, Appendix E would be Trek crew stats. You're going to be on a ship called the Trek, Trekk, and they are crewed by Sanguine elves. They're all siblings, or so you think. Helmed by Barda Trek, the shaved-headed woman of the crew that is pretty outspoken and pretty outgoing, but also doesn't really 100% support the Sanguine culture ideals. We'll talk about Sanguine culture, Feedland culture, Mechanist culture, and the Acanthus culture in the 4th video for what players expect. I'm going to get more into world building there. And then, of course, we have storytelling and riddle ideas every night. Again, you don't have to do this, but the Sanguine like to tell a story and then ask a riddle. Tell a story, ask a riddle. It's really fun. My players, by the end of the module, were asking if they could tell a story and ask a riddle of some of the Sanguine, some of each other, like to each other, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. It allows for character development, and it kind of gives prompts to have people engage in the world a little bit more. We got ship stats for the 3 major seafaring vessels that you will be encountering. And yeah, we have 6 days of travel. Each one of those days don't necessarily have something happening, but there's a lot of combat while you're awake. A lot of stuff is going on the Redwash Sea, y'all. And that is something that is really great for continued combat. Long rest becomes a dungeon, basically, where you go to sleep, and you go delve into that dungeon. You go try and find Artima, that poor little tiefling child, who's actually having a lot of fun. It's like Neverland for her. The what I call Fauxwild, which is a mirrored aspect of the Feywild, is actually really fun because of the whimsy and because of the emotional deregulation that children have. She's having a great time. Your players, though, might not be having a wonderful time. They might be looking at this going, oh no, this is really bad. And I've really developed the world a lot in this, where there are lots of characters, lots of my minor deities, minor important people in my world that are possibly interacting with them. They're all in there. Please feel free to add or subtract or whatever. This is a sea excursion from point A to point B. So if your players have wanted to play a game where they have a swim speed and can breathe underwater, this might be exactly what they're looking for. This is so much fun for a player that can swim while the other players cannot, or a player that can communicate underwater, speak with animals underwater, that kind of thing. A lot of fun. There's a bunch of ocean stuff going on in this game, which I love, and I think it'd be really fun. And again, I'm doing something that I feel like we don't see a lot of in the world. I think that's it. There's a lot more I could talk about. I could ramble all day. But I think it's a good overview. If you like this, and you're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it for your own purchasing ownership, the rolling tables themselves, I feel like, are worth the price. On top of all the world building, y'all, I'm giving you, I'm hoping y'all have an interest in all this. Anyway, thank you. On to video number 4.